So much. Thank you so much, Elder Linda Johnson, for presenting your blessings tonight. We are all extremely honored. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to introduce someone you all probably already know. Susan, our executive director, will share some thoughts about the past year with us. Susan?
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I know this is not our traditional potluck. The last one was our IWD last year. It was snowing then too. And it was the first time we had tried a Saturday lunch. And I, of course, was worried that no one would come. But you did, and they did, and it was a grand time. Since then, we've gone through a year of change and adaptations. We were closed to the public for a couple of weeks, but other than that, we've offered services and programs by phone and snail mail, online and in person. We lost some of our experienced volunteers, and fewer women are actually coming into the center because of COVID. But we've recruited wonderful new volunteers and women we never reached before are joining us for online training and connections. Staff and volunteers have been incredibly flexible and committed to meeting community needs as best we are able in these times. In response, the community has come together and supported our work in incredible ways, from providing funds for us to get trained and set up on Zoom and other online tools, to providing grocery gift cards for women experiencing food insecurity. You've dropped off homemade masks, flowers, Christmas gifts, and good wishes. And especially in the gray times, they made all the difference. Thank you for that. And for joining us this evening. Perhaps next year we will be together again by the hundreds, but tonight we're very grateful for your support and your participation and the opportunity to connect again. Enjoy the evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Susan, for those words full of resilience, hope, and wisdom. What a year it's been, but I think I'm grateful, just like everyone else, for our community. So thank you. And I will now introduce Navina, our public policy coordinator. Navina will fill us in on the historical piece behind International Women's Day. The virtual mic is yours, Navina.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Susan. Hi, everyone. It's so nice to see you all. As Carol said, my name is Nevina, and I coordinate our policy research, social issues, and advocacy work. I'll tell you a bit about the history of International Women's Day and introduce the theme of this one, the role of women's leadership in achieving a just, equal, and inclusive future in a post-COVID-19 world. So when did IWD first start being celebrated and why? The history of the day has its roots in late 19th and early 20th century working women's protest movements in North America and Europe, and the striving for women's equality. Women workers protested poor working conditions, low wages, and long hours, and women demanded the right to vote. IWD was proposed as an international holiday in 1910 to honor the struggles of women workers, and its first celebration took place in 1911. Since the women's movements of the 1960s and 70s, it has been reclaimed as a day of protest, solidarity, and celebration of women's and girls' achievements. But it is also a day when we raise awareness of the work left to be done, and when we renew our demand for a more equal society and remind each other how far we've come and how far we still have to go. At this point, I also want to acknowledge that while we're used to having this one day or perhaps even 1 month when women's and girls' achievements are celebrated by all, Indigenous women from Southern Alberta are celebrated every day. Among the Blackfoot people, they hold a higher role. The Blackfoot recognized there would be no life without women. Traditionally, women are seen as life givers and the pillars of their communities, families, and homes. Indigenous women have been given the knowledge to care for Mother Earth, their communities, and families, and for this, they are celebrated every day as leaders. I would like to also thank Elder Linda Johnson for her blessings and her powerful words of celebration of women, Indigenous and non-Indigenous. This March, we're witnesses to the pandemic having deepened pre-existing inequalities and having wiped away several decades of women's workforce gains. among other things. Women are both on the front lines as healthcare workers, caregivers, community organizers, and as some of the most effective national leaders in combating the pandemic. And they're also sidelined in the recovery, as hundreds of thousands of them in Canada struggle to find work or have left it altogether. Women who are young, low income, Black, Indigenous, women of color, recent immigrants, and single parents have been hit harder. To get from here to an equal future in a post-COVID world might require a bit of heroic effort, but it's the kind of everyday heroism that we know that women and girls are capable of. There's a recent book called Vital Voices, and it finds that women and girls on their journeys to leadership model and embrace leadership that is different from traditional notions. It is not seen as being about wielding power over others, about hierarchies, and about talking. In contrast, it's about empowerment, listening, compassion, and empathy. Importantly, it is also about having a clear sense of purpose, persevering, and having strong ties to one's community. Many women, including the amazing women and girls, community leaders and activists from Calgary, whom we interviewed for the videos you're about to see tonight, don't see themselves as leaders at all because of this different understanding of leadership. In an equal future, we want to see women's work will be recognized, fairly paid, and have dignity. And systems will not merely have included diverse women, but they will change to serve them better. To get to that future, women's leadership and their voice are absolutely necessary. We need women's perspectives and experience to inform the recovery, and we need their dreams and their perseverance. We need to fully embrace the potential of women's leadership to get us to that future, one small, impactful, and purposeful step at a time. And with that, I'm going to pass the virtual mic to Carol to introduce the next part of our programming. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nevina. That was great words, very powerful. Thank you. So in honor of International Women's Day 2021 and our highlight of women's leadership, we interviewed 6 women and 2 girls. We asked them how they got into leadership and activism, why they pursue leadership opportunities in the community, and what their hopes are for a post-COVID world. We put the responses in 2 videos, and we will be sharing those videos with you tonight. I would like to introduce our first video and the leaders profiled within this video. So in order of appearance, Natasha Calthrope, a land and water protector, Nitsitapi woman. Shelley Chan, employment strategist and women lead YYC alumni. Sadie Vipon, climate activist and Women's Center Girl Force program participant. And Penny Gunderson, encaustic artist and Women's Center artist in residence. Just a quick note to let you know that full interviews and bios for each of those wonderful leaders will be available on our website very soon. Enjoy.
Because I have been supporting my community in water and land protection of the eastern slopes of the Rocky Mountains. What I do is help to instill hope in the community and mobilize action amongst youth, traditional leaders, knowledge keepers, and women in our community. I strongly believe that the role of women in leadership is something that ties so closely with environmental conservation and land protection. And so this is something that holds deeply to me, and using the skills that I have learned in both my traditional knowledge and in my Western education, and weaving those two together to make meaningful change for my people and for all people that reside in this treaty area.
What really motivates me is empowering my community, my circles, and my network to continue to grow and never stop improving. So for me, that's areas of learning and development. It doesn't always have to be in career, but I really strongly feel about learning and continuously growing and developing yourself. So those are some of the things that I've been practicing and I've been trying to bring to the community.
seeing that change can actually happen in history, in revolutions where there has been whole systemic changes. What also motivates me is to see how people stand up for what they believe in, and I find that very inspiring, and it makes me want to do the same.
I've never really thought of myself as a community leader, but I guess part of it has been the activism I've shown for women and making connections between women and generations through handwork, and that's happened at the Women's Center and on Zoom and off Zoom, and also at 1,000 Voices, which is mostly newcomer women. And it's been wonderful to make those connections.
Really inspires me when people are able to feel like that or communicate that they've been helped in some sort of way, or tell you that, oh, thank you so much for that insight, you've really helped me a lot. And I think that that type of reciprocating help and just being able to give feedback on that, it really it creates it creates like a momentum, you know. And I think that being a leader or activist, you are the one to drive that momentum, and you're able to see the the fruits of that momentum, and you're able to see it spread, because it's not, you know, it's not a one person thing. It really does take a community, and it takes ongoing persistence to create that and develop that within that network. So I think that's what being a community leader and being an activist and being active in those things means to me.
What this work means to me is setting an example for my daughters and my son of what it means to take action and to be Nitsitabi. To me, being Nitsitabi comes with a lot of roles and responsibilities, and some of that is being compassionate, is leading through example, is leading with an open heart and speaking for the land. That is our role as Nitsitabi women, to carry that forward and to pass that on to the next generation. So that's really what I'm trying to do here, is to provide that leadership and that guidance to my children as they watch and join me in this journey of land and protection, because it is going to be their children and my grandchildren that will live off this land, and we need to leave something better for them than what is here now. And it's our role to continue on these ways of life, so that our future generations can continue to prosper.
One of the things it means to me is connection. During this time of the pandemic of COVID-19, a lot of people are experiencing isolation, working at home, not able to go out as much, not able to maybe spend holidays with friends or family. And so it was really even more so the connection that the women made with each other and with me during the mending circles, that it was a safe place to be. It was a place of companionship and encouraging creativity, but also just to have some fun. And it surprised me how very much that is needed at this time.
When I don't stand up to a problem, it makes me feel very helpless. It makes me feel that things can't change. But when I do stand up to a problem, I feel more fulfilled. I feel more hopeful that things can actually change. In particular, women, I hope that the system allows them to easier easier balance their jobs between their children, because income and children are very important, and they should have they should have both without risking losing the other.
My hope is going forward that there would be some talk, some government decisions made on how to, in the future, ensure that women would not be disproportionately affected by things like COVID.
I think that in the post-COVID world, I would really, really like to see a community developed for women to be able to get out there and show how powerful they are, and to empower others, and to speak up more and be seen more, and to be heard more and listened to more.
One big change that I hope for is the recognition and upholding of First Nations rights. By protecting First Nations rights, including treaty, Aboriginal, inherent rights, we are protecting the land. We are bringing equity back to our communities across genders, across walks of life. And really, by recognizing those rights and following the ways of our ancestors, we can create a better and more sustainable society where everybody prospers.
Amazing women leaders in our community. I hope you all enjoyed the first video. It was really amazing. So now is the time for some trivia. And no one does trivia better than Sarah, our community development lead at the Women's Center. So I'll leave it up to Sarah. She will tell you what the plan is. Sarah?
Yeah, thanks, Carol. I'll just introduce it a little bit and then we'll get into it. But first, I just have to say a huge thank you to Lindy, who actually put these questions together. She put together 20, and we unfortunately had to cut it down to 10 for time's sake. So I just want to recognize her labor in putting those together. So since the theme of today is women's leadership, we have some trivia focused on women's leadership. So we're going to be using a platform called Kahoot. Hopefully some of you are familiar with it. If not, that's okay. We're going to play the game on this platform. So you're welcome to join us, and I'll give some instructions, or you can just actually watch the game unfold on your screen. So there's no pressure to join in unless you're feeling competitive and you want to like compete with people here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. So just give me a second. Okay, so hopefully you will see on your screen, I'm just going to make it a full screen. You will see some numbers, and there's a website that you can type into a browser on your phone. So you can use your computer browser, but it works a little better if you use your phone, but you can use either. So you just want to go to kahoot.it. And once you get there, you'll be prompted to put in this game PIN. So it's 5972483. Our volunteer Camille is going to put all this in the chat too, so you don't have to memorize it or anything, but I see people are already joining, which is amazing. So once you type in that PIN, you'll be prompted to then put in a nickname. We have really amazing ones like Bronze Possum and Lovely Sea Lion, which is really great. So I'm just going to give people a couple, maybe like a minute to join, and just so that I don't cut off anyone's chances at a big win. You win bragging rights, so it's really exciting. But again, if you're like, I'm just going to sit back and watch this unfold, that's also really, really welcome. So I'll just wait for a minute. And once we get started, the questions, we have 10 of them. Each one will have 30 seconds for you to answer. So we'll just wait the full 30 seconds. And then if you run out of time, that's okay. So I'm going to wait maybe 30 more seconds. Looks like we have 28 people joined, which is so great. Mountain camel, Joyful Boa. These are such good names. I don't know if people are making them up or using the auto ones, but these are really good. So it looks like we have slowed down on people joining. So maybe I'm going to give 10 more seconds and then I'm going to hit start and we'll get this party started.
Monica is sharing with us that she's having some issues. Maybe if you could wait a few more seconds, Sarah.
Sure. We'll wait a couple more seconds. I know the tech stuff, it's like no one's ever on the same page, which is totally fine. Okay. So I'm gonna hit start. And if you haven't been able to join yet, that's okay. You can just watch from where you are. So here we go. International Women's Day Trivia 2021. Very exciting. So you'll see the question. So what percentage of seats in Canada's House of Commons are held by women? So you just have to choose the color that corresponds on your phone with the answer. I was going to say there's no wrong answers, but this one there is a wrong answer. All right, and you have 10 more seconds. Okay, so the answer is 27%. So congratulations to all those who got that. And everyone else now you know, which is great. So we'll get a tally at the very end of who the official winner is. So I'll just move through this pretty quickly. But here we go. Number 2. There has been one prime minister in the history of Canada who was a woman. What was her name? I'm going to turn on the music this time.
I love the music.
Just puts the pressure on. Okay. And the answer is Kim Campbell. Congratulations to everyone who got that. She wasn't the prime minister for very long, but okay. On to the next one. Number 3. Buffy St. Marie was the first Indigenous woman to win what award? All right, so an Oscar and Golden Globe for her song in a 1982 film. That one was a little bit trickier. That's okay. Okay, number 4. Let's see, who's in the lead? Happy Chicken, whoever you are. Great job. Okay, number 4. Who is Cindy Blackstock? Here we go. All right, so she was an Indigenous activist who challenges harmful child welfare practices. So congratulations to the 29 folks who got that. Okay, here we go. Question number 5. We're halfway through. Kimberly Crenshaw is a social justice advocate who coined which important term? Is it ally? Is it microaggression? Is it intersectionality or white privilege? All right, so for those who said intersectionality, you were correct. Great work. On to the next. Number 6. Who is Teresa Tam? You may have heard her name a lot lately. This one people answered super quickly. All right, so she's the Chief Public Health Officer who's managing Canada's COVID-19 response. So very key role at the moment. Nice work, everybody who got that. I think that's our highest score yet, so nice job. Okay, number 7, we have 3 more questions left. Who is the self-proclaimed ML Gay in the Alberta legislature? Is it Sonia Savage? Is it Janice Irwin, Michaela Glasgow, or Alison Redford? All right, so it is Janice Irwin. And if you don't follow her on Instagram, I'd recommend it. She's really interesting. Nice work, everybody. Okay, we have 2 more questions left. Let's see who's at the top. Magic Bobcat. Congratulations to you so far, but we have 2 questions, so you can still get it back. Number 8. Tegan and Sarah are from Calgary. Who are they? Are they painters? None of the above? Twin sisters who are both mechanics? Or musicians and activists for LGBTQA+ rights? Who are they? I guess I should have said none of the above at the end. They also went to Crescent Heights High School, I think. So if that gives you any clues. Right, so they are musicians and activists for LGBTQA+ rights. Awesome. Okay. We're getting down to the last ones. Number 9, who is Brielle Beardy Linklater? That music going. All right, 3 more seconds. All right, so she is the first transgender woman with a seat in Parliament. So that one was like a stumper. Maybe people didn't know her name, and that's okay. I just learned about her too in this process, so really great. Okay, the last one, the final. How old was the youngest MP in Canada, Lauren Liu, when she took office? Was she 23? Was she 20? 22 or 25? Five more seconds. All right, so she was 20 when she took office, so super young and super awesome. So that's it. Let's see who has won. Here's the podium. Fabulous Dragon, 3rd place. Magic Bobcat, so good. All right, so congratulations to Agent and I don't know who that was, so congratulations to you. It's fun for these nicknames. But yeah, thank you so much everyone for playing. Hope you learned a few things. And thank you again to Lindy for all of these questions. I see Miriam says they got 30 seconds. That's great. That's great. Okay, I'll pass it back to Carol. Thanks everyone.
Thanks so much, Sarah. That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the names and the music. So congratulations, Agent Ant, whoever you are. That was really fun. Thank you so much. So now we'll move on to the second part of our videos. So, and just a quick reminder again that you'll find full bios and interviews on our website very soon. So for this second part, we'll have in order of appearance, Shreen Samuels. She's the Director of Students Association at Montreal University. She's been offering her expertise to support and strengthen organizations when it comes to increasing inclusion in workplaces. Lee Stevens, Policy and Research Specialist and member of Caucus Tagish First Nation. Nu Abu Amsha, fifth grader and Women's Center Girl Power program participant. And Siobhan Vipon, Secretary Treasurer of the Alberta Federation of Labor. So enjoy part 2, everyone.
I don't know whether it's in part as women, we are sometimes a little hesitant to name ourselves in that way, to name ourselves as a community leader. I don't know if I am a community leader, but what I can tell you is that it matters to me a lot to walk my talk every day. It matters to me a lot to have consistency in how I approach my daily work and family life, and really sort of have all of that resonate through how I treat everybody in the world. And so, yeah, if that's leadership, then I guess that would be my answer. I'm not attempting to be falsely modest, but I see so many incredible women around me that it's an honor just to be considered a community leader, I think.
I knew I wanted to be a social worker in high school, but it took me a really long time to challenge oppression and to feel confident enough to point out when something, didn't feel right. And once you share your learnings with others and you gain that confidence, it's really hard to go back to ignorance. So I definitely, there's just no stopping me, especially when you see that that your work is making a difference. So that's why I'm an activist. I feel inspired by strong female leaders in my life, and I want to do them proud. And I don't want to let them down.
Please, I can't hear anything.
Taking contribution to the community and people around me. When we first came to Canada 6 years ago, we had a lot of helpful and supportive people. And one way to pay it back is also to help other girls and people.
Please, I can't hear anything.
Being a leader.
Trying to think of why I'm a community leader or activist can be difficult, because it wasn't where I started. It wasn't the purpose of doing it. What drives me is to try and improve things. And I love being part of a team, and I love being collaborative. And, when you look back about how did I end up in this leadership role, which I feel so privileged to be a part of, it then becomes about the work, and then it becomes about opportunities that put yourself in front of you. And I think that learning to take your space as a leader becomes really about being driven from the work and being surrounded by amazing people who lift you up, and so that you can in return lift them up. And that is makes it the best. And I have to say, getting the opportunity to be an activist means that every day I am happy with the decisions I make and the work that I do. And that is so fulfilling.
To do all that I can do to lead and leave significant and positive change in other girls and people's lives, I gain more respect, more self-confidence, and more motivation to grow as a leader.
Being a leader means that I am in this privileged position, and to have people who trust me to do this role and to make these decisions. And not only is that like a privilege and it's an honor, it also comes with a lot of responsibility, because I don't want to take that for granted. And so getting to do this work and getting to do it every day, because I was an activist when I, for most of my life, I remember being an activist on different issues, but now I get to actually do this in a bigger role and in many measurements a more important role, and that comes with this responsibility. And I think that is absolutely fantastic. And to be able to play a part in influencing change and improving things is so fulfilling. And then also looking around and seeing the next generation of leaders come up and remembering being where they are, and remembering that the gift that I was given from people to help me through my journey and being able to give that back to them is so awesome. And knowing that, this connection, especially during these times, this connection that we have with each other is so important and so fulfilling.
It's very fulfilling, but it's not always easy. I think one of the biggest lessons I've had to learn is that we are the system, and that I've had to confront some of my own biases. And, I've had to realize that some of the people that I've helped, it's not that they owe me anything, they don't have to be grateful, because, we're doing this together, and, we should be doing it together side by side. And I think that it's this paternalism that I've had to challenge. I've had to challenge myself against it. Has been one of the most fulfilling learning moments in my life, for sure. And I guess once you realize this, you realize ending poverty, ending racism and sexism is good for society. It's good for all of us. And I think that's what motivates me to keep doing it. And that's what it means for my life.
My work has shaped my whole life, I would say. I started what I would consider the actual sort of career-focused part of my adult life when I was close to 30. And it was volunteer management that I was drawn to. I was drawn to working with volunteers because it struck me that there was nothing more powerful than working with people who were doing something from passion, from conviction, and were willing to do it for free. And so that, for me, has shaped everything about how I think about the world. I think that if we place our convictions and our passion at the center, other things follow. And I think that the world would be probably a much better place if everyone sort of attempted to live that way.
I'd like it to be easier for girls to become environmental activists. I also want to see more girls in higher positions and powerful positions. And I want more girls to be involved in bigger decisions that can change the world. An example is like the New Zealand Prime Minister. I want to see more people like her being powerful and strong and making decisions that can change a whole country.
Organizational inclusion is a thing that is near and dear to my heart. I would hope that the one big thing that comes out of it for women is that flexible work environments become an accepted part of how organizations think about their employees. I think that if COVID has demonstrated one thing, it's that we can be flexible if we have to be. And I would like it if people continue to be after they don't have to be.
My hope for a post-COVID world is a world that is rebuilt with an intersectional feminist lens. It's about not going back to what wasn't working, but going forward. And that's a world that is robust with public services and expanded healthcare, pharmacare, dentacare. Let's talk about mental health. It's accessible, affordable childcare. It's a more equal society that respects the dignity of work. And that is our physical, our intellectual, our emotional, and our creative labor that will be recognized. And in that, women will be equal and will be respected, and it'll be a fairer and more just world.
Hi everyone, welcome back. So uplifting. So great to see those amazing women and girls. We're so fortunate. That's great. So now comes another moment I've been actually very excited about. It's time to sing Bread and Roses. So before we get into some actual singing, um, today for those who came to the center, we had some amazing roses for women who wish to have one. And those roses were donated by Red Rose Florist. They have been supporting IWD and the Women's Center for years. So I really wanted to thank them for their donation. And just a few sentences to explain the background and why we sing Bread and Roses on International Women's Day. So the song is associated with women striking in the early 20th century. They were fighting for meaningful changes, not small incremental changes to their living and working conditions. So bread feeds your stomach, roses feed the soul. I think that's some very important and powerful context that we can all keep in mind while we sing tonight. So we'll have Mariya, a wonderful artist in residence, will perform for us tonight and will sing for us. So thank you so much, Mariya. We'll be posting the lyrics, as Jessica was saying, in the chat, and you are more than welcome to sing along. We'll just ask that everyone keeps their mics muted, just so it's comfortable for all of us, for Mariya, but also so the sound is clear and uninterrupted. So I hope you enjoy this. It's one of my favorite moments from IWD. So now on to you, Mariya, and thanks so much for leading us.
Amazing. Thanks so much. Can everyone hear me okay? Can y'all hear me
Yes.
okay? Okay, amazing. Yeah, it was wonderful. I was doing some research on the song and before I learned it, and I really, really love the sentiment that's expressed in it about how women don't just have the right to exist, but the right to live full, beautiful lives with the sun and music and art. And one of the really cool things also about this song, I'm not sure if many of you have listened to the arrangement, but it is a beautiful choral arrangement in almost every version that I could find. And it says a lot, I think, to have women's voices joined. So even though we can't hear each other today because we're over Zoom, it's really nice to sing with y'all. I took a few liberties with the melody because I'm an artist, but follow along if you'd like. As we go marching, marching in the beauty of the day, a million dark kitchens, 1,000 millocks gray, are touched with all the radiance that a sudden sun discloses. For the people hear us singing bread and roses, bread and roses. As we go marching, marching, we battle to foment. For they are women's children, and we mother them again. Our lives shall not be sweated from birth until life closes. Hearts starve as well as bodies. Give us bread, but give us roses. As we go marching, marching, unnumbered women dead go crying through our singing, their ancient cry for bread. Small art and love and beauty, their drudging spirits new. Yes, it is bread we fight for, but we fight for roses too. As we go marching, marching, we're standing strong and tall. The rising of the women means a rising for us all. No more the drudge and idler, and the toil where one reposes. The share
life's glory, spreading roses, spreading roses. Red and roses, spreading roses.
Thank you so much, Mariya, everyone. Thank you so, so much.
Thank
That
you
was
for having me.
wonderful.
Appreciate it. It's been an honor to be an artist in residence at the Women's Center, and I can't wait to, or it's been great to be part of this event, and I can't wait to keep hanging out with everybody in the future as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mariya. That was lovely, really. So now, in an effort, I would say, to preserve the spirit of pre-COVID in-person events, Sarah will be announcing door prizes. Are you ready, Sarah? Awesome.
Yes, thank you, Carol. So yeah, we couldn't do this day without door prizes. It feels like it would be wrong. So Xenia, our volunteer, has been using a random number generator on our list of people who are here to choose some winners. So we have 10 prizes, including digital cameras, some beautiful beaded earrings donated from Bobby Joe, some chocolate, a yoga mat, some gift cards, and some other things. So thank you so much to everyone who donated. So I'm gonna just read out the names. And if you see your name read out or in the chat, Xenia is gonna put it there too. I'll invite you to connect with me either by phone or email. And again, Xenia will put those in the chat for you as well. I've also changed my name to my email address to try to make it easy. So I don't know if people can see it, but make sure to just take note of it if your name gets called. So the names are, hopefully you're surprised and excited. So I will talk to you soon and we'll set up a time for you to come and pick it up or how to get it to you. So thanks.
Thank you, Sarah. That's great. So this wraps up, I would say, the formal portion of our evening together. So thank you so much for joining us, everyone. It was lovely and so good for our souls to see each other again, I think. Don't leave yet. It's not completely over. We wanted to provide an opportunity to connect and catch up in a smaller setting. So we'll have a little bit of chatting time in breakout rooms. But I wanted to take the time to say thank you and goodbye to all of you, since we won't be seeing each other again. We'll all go into our breakout rooms, and Sarah will explain a little bit more about the mix and mingle session and what it will look like. So happy mingling, everyone. And once again, happy International Women's Day. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.